What could I share with you that has any meaning today? Okay, the value of what I'm doing is far beyond anything superior that we're already doing. There was a study done on bees, bumblebees. Their wings are too small to fly. They create a sound vibration. And that sound vibration allows them to fly. And they can navigate amazingly well. Like bees and bats are very similar. They have navigational skills. So do we. We open up those skills when we vibrate our brain. And there's an integrity of the sound that when you find it or you look for it, it literally fills the spaces that bring pleasure and opens them up to the toxicity or the things that hold them together. It creates space. So this mantra, even Alan Watts, one of the greatest teachers who I've ever listened to, Alan Watts, he said that if he could develop a cult, it would be no religion at all, and it would be a humming cult. It would be a humming religion. It would be as we speak, we're actually changing our intonations to create certain word logos, the language. So basically anyone can speak any language. We just need to have the vocal cords to enunciate them. So back to the humming. The same sound like a cicada, the bugs that permeate the deserts during summer season, or crickets, or bees, flies. So you do that on the inhalation as well as the exhalation. And the inhalation is probably more critical than the exhalation, because you want to breathe through this channel, right all through here, the ears, the top of the head. So I'm actually drawing in prana or air and filling my brain, but the lungs get full. And you do it so slowly and minusculely that breath seems to go forever. So, how do I know this is correct? I'm out here in amazing space in the jungle of Hawaii, and I only hear the forest. I only hear the silence. I hear the birds in the morning. The birds start chirping around 4:30 in the morning, just before sunrise. And there's a certain ecological clock out here that is unbroken for years. So as soon as you go to town, you change your energetic vibration to adjust to town vibrations. Well, you'll see that when you're out in nature long enough, meaning you don't get in cars and you're not challenged by town life and energies, that I try to stay out here for weeks at a time and not go anywhere. Just be in nature and go, God, I'm really suffering. God, I'm really suffering that I'm not having to suffer in town and deal with the weirdness and the noise and spend money and always be uneasy. See, when I lived in town, or not lived in town, but would visit, I was a sugar addict, meaning I would eat too much sugar because I was in anxiety, and I couldn't help it. It was like, and then when I try to stop, it'd be like, well, then don't go to town. So I just noticed how sugar is such an evil thing because it hides evil. So when you go to town, you see the evil, and then you eat the sugar, then you don't see the evil, because it changes the way you feel. So that's why our race of people are not emotionally able to open up and love each one another, is because of the food stuff they're doing. Now check this. As a yogi, I'm like changing my meals because I can't quite seem to get off of food, meaning being a breatharian is very difficult, if you know what I mean. Because try to get off of food, and then there's a calling inside you, an emptiness and a longing, and yet an emptiness of lightness that you love, but you can't seem to sustain it because you always have to fill the grill. You always have to put something in. This is oral fixation from childhood. And so we just keep eating out of just occupation. Like we're part of the consumers of life. And we forgot how to just be with pure intelligence and meditate for hours without moving, which happens when you stop eating. So when you stop eating, you actually feel better and you're clearer. But this whole society needs to give up food. Like, it's not just one person. It's like we all need to know that we got to get off the wheel. You know that the digestive channel is for ethers, for air, for actually bringing in a certain prana. But we're so conditioned to eat that I'm a suicidal eater because every time I eat it kills me. Every time. But what to do? You know, I'm in the world. But yet I'm out here in the forest. What causes me still to eat? I can feel it. I can feel my people are still suffering. So then I create the suffering to myself. So how am I going to give up food is really how I'm going to give up the cross or take the nail of suffering out by grace. Literally only when I pray and use pure diligence to the breath, every inhalation, every exhalation. It's like the Jesus mantra I've explained to you before. It's Jesus. It's like two breaths. Two breaths. Jesus. G. So that G goes forever. Now if you really got it as deep as I have gotten this mantra, this singularity of hope with every breath, is that I've done it so long and I know it's the only thing that works. One of these breaths is like the quality of 100 breaths. So you're just wasting your time if you're not and getting lost in the sound. You see, but see, to get the correct sound, you need to listen deeply to nature. You need to listen to the quiet and try to inhale the quietness. Don't overcompensate, undercompensate, and follow the same sound you hear, because this is how I sleepitate. You see, I meditate and I sleep a lot. I sleep more than I meditate. Why? Because when you rest the body deeply and you rest it, and you listen, meaning you never lose grip of the listening with your ears. So as soon as I hear the first bird in the morning here, I wake up. I'm like listening to every sound. If there's just one little animal outside my door, I hear it. That way I don't dream, because the key is when you listen so deeply, you into this space and it merges and there's no thought there, or there's no dreams, then you're in the space of the deep divine, meaning the deep sublime divine. That's why I love to sleep. It's for hours, because when you do, you just rest and you forget this heavy body, this heavy self that needs taken care of. Once you start putting the feet on the ground, you kind of start running the rest of the day, right? So that's why yogis keep their feet up when they're meditating, keep them up, because when they're up, the consciousness goes higher rather than lower. As soon as you put your feet down, your consciousness is, I got to run, I got to keep moving all day long. So I suggest also you never touch caffeine. Yeah, it's almost a suicide note to meditation, because it puts you in a different meditation. It takes you away from stillness. Like I put it in my body, I feel it for a couple days after. And it's like putting spikes, little spikes in your kidneys, and you're always uneasy. Kind of reminds you why people do meth, amphetamine, is because it just keeps you going and going and going and going, and you're always tweaking on things, you're always fixing things and doing things. And I realize that's all OCD, to occupational hazards of life, is to always try to compensate for the world and keep fixing it, keep doing it, keep. You know, a good reminder today is to undo everything, to just go, ah, and just sit in that with no thought, just ah. And in that emptiness, find peace. Of course, it needs to happen with your breath, because the thing is, when you can have peace for a couple of minutes or something, and then you start getting agitated because your breath is not clear and clean and clear, there's some obstruction, then the body and mind has to move. It has to move, because it's trying to move some blockages. That's why I think I know we're a constipated society, because of the food stuff we eat. All the different food things end up blocking our body, and we become more of an ego. We become more of a fascinated with the body because it's dying. We know it's dying, you can feel it because it's sluggish. That's why you got to be clean and clear. You got to stop eating. I mean, the equation is to go as many hours and days as you can. And that's one of the best techniques. This is the last part of this discourse of what I do is my highest ways to get back into identifying self, identifying fluids, breath, balance, heart connection, because the tongue is so close to the heart, so connected, like children. So when you suck your tongue, call it mewing, mewing. When you really start mewing and using your tongue like a sexual organ and trying to draw out the salivary glands so that you salivate, then you collect as much saliva as you can for hours. It's hours. Never open your mouth. Swallow all the saliva, and even pull your nostrils, drawing the nasal drip back so you can use. And once you start doing this, you'll start to open the formula, the forms of your own mouth tissues, and these elixirs will start to come out, and you'll realize that the whole mouth is like a pleasure bar. It's a pleasure bar, just drawing on the fluids of your tongue, pulls down the fluids of your upper palate and behind the nostrils, and your whole body starts to liquidate. You know, when you eat a meal, you can come up with like a quart or half a quart of saliva at least, because I've vomited before and I've seen how much saliva is in there. And you know, we love to salivate. It's actually one of the pleasures of life. See, it's not so much in eating the food, if you think about it. It's in the salivation. It's like, what's that going to taste like? How's that going to feel? Is that going to open up my prana? Is that going to really excite my heart? So we have hot things, cold things. We overdo things. We overburn things. All the things that we do, think about it. It's to salivate. It's to get the brain to go, So if I were to stick anything in my mouth, and I thought what it was what I thought it was, meaning, ever done that? Close your eyes and just put things in your mouth, and you're like, it could be chocolate. I could be eating lettuce. It's like somebody told me it's chocolate. I go, okay, maybe it is chocolate. When your eyes are closed. So it's really a mental thing. It really is. And so this whole food thing. So anyways, I started the video with saying that stop doing spices on your food. Well, it stops the mind from navigating and becoming more calm. It actually calms the mind. What I've been enjoying doing out here in the jungle, 1 avocado a day, maybe 1.5 or 2, and brown rice. And that goes down really good. I mean, just an avocado right from the land and brown rice, it's chewy, nothing else but a little salt. Nothing else, no other spices. I used to use it all, like five, six different things, and the cayenne pepper. So all those things, they strain the tongue, think about it, you're like a snake. It puts out venom. Okay, so we put out venom through our mouth, and all this enjoyment, and our brain goes, ah. And you ever notice that after you eat something really exciting, you either want more, or you want the sweet after 5 to 20 minutes, 30 minutes, because the body's starting to go really kind of like, after eating a lot of protein or something really good, your body's been exercised so much, and now it wants a break, and you don't want to give it a break because our body's on that high. I mean, I know what it's like to eat 5 candy bars at once. I know what it's like. I love eating Cliff Bars and enjoying the chewing and all the sweetness, not too sweet, but chewy and gooey, and then when it's gone, 2 to 5 minutes later, I open another one. And I'll do that for 5 or 6. And I'm like, how did I just do that? And I just had so much fun. Wow. And now my whole day is a drag. Meaning I just had a bunch of fun, just like sex, you had a bunch of fun, and then the heart goes up, enjoys it, then goes down, and you have to deal with all this sugar in your body and all this lowness, and you're like, gosh, now I'm a diabetic. Whoa, I can't think of anything. But during the course of doing it, the addiction the addict enjoyed it so much that it couldn't stop. What a drag. That's why I stay away from those things. It's like, give me one, it's like cigarettes. I guess people can't stop. I never smoke. I never drink. But we have different affinities, right? But we all have affinities to kill ourselves, to do what we shouldn't be doing. But in this world, it kind of gets boring if you don't find truth in meditation or a purpose. A lot of tribes are trying to find purposes in the world. Mine's to be a bee, and hit that perfect note. If I can hit that perfect note, you can do anything. No kidding. The Taoists know this. The Kundalini yogis know this. When the sound and vibration meets with the perfection of alignment of intention and thought, and power Kundalini's totally jacked up, ready to roll, you can lift off and levitate. You can do whatever the mind can. But that's been stolen from us. That possibility has been stolen. It's been kept down amongst all our friends and people, our family. Meaning, as soon as you start to come up and they're like, whoa, they don't understand, you try to bring them up, they try to fight and kick. This world wants to fight and kick from the pineal opening up. Meaning, everyone can be enlightened. I know everyone can be enlightened when they go out to nature and just sit in suffering and find joy there. Just sit and go, and just find joy and emptiness. What is that emptiness? We don't need to do other things to distract us, And I know I do things that distract myself because almost like I want to learn and I want a little entertainment, so the YouTube's there. But even for us yogis, we find that even we have these little things that creep up on us and are allowable by society, but how are we going to cultivate our life, my life, so that I'm not afflicted by, things that are destructive? So that's why I don't do the Cliff Bars. That's why I stay away from town, because if they make a mistake with the food they're cooking for me, and I make a mistake by eating it, well then, I'm the idiot, right? So I like to just be around trees and plants that I plant and water and gather. So having an avocado every day, but I eventually want to give that up. Yeah. So back to the sound, because that's the whole thing about every video I've ever done is to go back to the perfect note is who we are through the times they are a-changing. And then you hold the breath out as long as you can, like you almost die into it. Just let it out, and then inhale through the nostrils. Deep as you can, full as you can, full as you can, And then if you want to maximize it, then you close the nostrils and big chipmunk, Hanuman, holding of the breath in the mouth, close the nose, and hold the breath into the chest, and that's the deep breath of fullness. Because once you do it, hold it, you'll expand, feel like you're blowing up a balloon. This is what you want to do. This is what you want to do with every breath. Most everybody I know, every single person, meaning this bag is empty. It's got a hole in it. We need to shut it, hold the breath, and then captivate it. Deep, deep practices. If you want to understand more, I'm happy to share it, but you might have to come to Maui and learn from Yogi Zen, the Zen of yoga through Yogi Zen. Until then, we'll all embark into darkness, because that's how the world is out there. As soon as you become the light, they shut it down. And we need more light, so come hang out with us. Aloha.